Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to make a 1-cup drip coffee maker from an old soda bottle. This is a 1-cup coffee maker. It uses a drip method to make coffee, and you can see how this is built. And what you do is you set it on top of your coffee cup like so. In it goes a paper filter, a tablespoonful of coffee, and then you pour hot boiling water over the top of it and allow it to drip through the holes at the bottom, okay, into the cup. It fills the cup. It takes about a minute, maybe two, and when you get done, you have a perfect single cup of coffee. Well, where I live, it's very difficult to find one of these. I could have ordered one online at a greatly inflated price. I got lucky one day at a discount store, unclaimed freight type of place, where they had a bunch of these, and this was only $1. Researching this online, I found them going for about $7 or $8. The price varied somewhat, but including shipping, it would have still cost me in the neighborhood of $6 or $8. So I'm going to show you how to make one of these for your own use and save yourself some money. Stick with me. I'll be right back, and I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, here you see how we do this. It sits on top of your cup. This shield part here keeps it from going too deep into your cup. Then you put a plain white paper coffee filter in here. You take your coffee, place a single level scoop into the filter, and then you pour hot boiling water down over this to make 1 cup of coffee. Okay, I'm going to show you what to do when you don't have this piece here. Here's a soda bottle. This is a 3-liter. It can be done with a 2-liter. The size isn't so much important. What is important is how you do it. Okay, we're going to be drilling approximately a 1/4-inch hole into the top of this lid. This is a regular 2-liter, or in this case a 3-liter bottle, and what we need is a hole here in the bottom of this. Now, when drilling a hole in something like this particularly, it's always good to start with a smaller drill bit. Smaller drill bit makes it easier then to put in the larger one. So what I'm going to do is start right in the center and drill that small hole. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the center, but the idea is to get it close. Once you've got that little hole drilled, you can go to a much larger drill. In this case here, we're using about a 1/4 inch drill, or drill bit rather, and what I'm going to do is put it right in that hole where I just drilled with the small bit, and I'm going to ream out a hole. I want to make sure when I do this that I remove any little pieces of flash, that kind of thing. So I go through it from both sides to clean up the hole. And then I'm going to take a knife, a small knife, like so, and I'm going to ream around the inside of that hole to help smooth it out and remove any plastic particles. And there's usually within the inside of one of these caps a little disc, which you want to remove that disc. You don't want it inside the hole. And if you feel now, you can feel and tell that there are no flashy pieces lingering around the outside of it. Now you can go ahead and replace the lid if you wish. And what you're going to do is take a razor blade or a razor knife, something sharp, and right about where the label begins, you're going to need to take the razor blade and make a cut. Enough that now you can get a pair of scissors in the hole. The scissors are much easier to use to cut this with, and then just cut around the top of that label. Try to cut it as straight as possible, although it doesn't have to be perfect. There's a little bit of water left in the bottle where I was washing the bottle out. But the idea is you want to try and leave a reasonably viable end piece on here. And you can go ahead now and dry out the innards of this piece here that you've created. And you're going to need something, because if you set this down on here, it's going to set way down deep inside the cup. So what you want to do is get a lid, something like this, that you don't need, and you're going to end up cutting a hole in here and putting it on this. Now, the way I like to do this is to take and cut an X in the lid, right in the center of it. That allows me to push a hole in here and take this lid and slide it up over that, and that allows it to set on top of the cup like this. This will go down into the cup about 3/4 to an inch in depth. Then you do the same thing with this that you would do with this. You place the coffee filter down in it, put your coffee in the bottom of it, and then you pour boiling water. I'll be back to demonstrate in just a moment. Now, I've often heard it said that you don't need boiling water to make a good cup of coffee. I'm sorry, I believe that the water should be at boiling temperature. It's going to lose some temperature by the time you get from the stove where you're boiling it to the cup. As long as it's simmering, I mean, it doesn't have to be a huge rolling boil, but it should be simmering and quite hot. And then what you do is you take it and pour it slowly, because your coffee filter can collapse. Okay, and pour it slowly at first. Try to keep it down low in the spout here until you get it going good, and you make sure your filter will not collapse. Then you go ahead and pour your coffee into it. Now, bear in mind that this is a temporary unit. Because you're pouring hot boiling water into it, it is going to disfigure it after a while. It's going to melt somewhat. It won't melt to be pointed to liquid, but it will misshape it. And you can see what's happening here. You have water dripping from the bottom of it into your cup, and it takes a couple of minutes for the water to drain through the paper filter and into your cup. Meanwhile, you can go about other things while it's dripping, but it has to steep for just a few moments. Generally, I have a cup of coffee ready in about 2 minutes. So we're going to give it a minute or two to go ahead and continue draining, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, as the coffee drains down through the filter, which it's been about a minute and a half now, you can see that the coffee grounds have gotten down there, and it's kind of somewhat blocking the filter. So it may be a good idea to agitate it just a little bit. okay, to allow the coffee to go ahead and seep on down through the filter. And you're going to need to pull it out a little bit like this here maybe, because the lid is going to be down in the coffee, and because of that, gravity will no longer have the effect on it that it was having. You can see now that it's gone down to just a drip. A little more water than what I put in it might have been valuable. You can see most of the water has dripped through. But give it an extra minute or two to let it drip all the way through. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. You can set this down in the drain of your sink and allow it to continue draining. Now you can see I only have about 3/4 of a cup of coffee here, but that's okay. That gives you room to put in any cream or sugar that you like. I like mine black. The coffee is going to be very hot, so beware when you start to drink it. But that's a great cup of coffee, and it only took a couple of minutes, and you've only made 1 cup of coffee. If you're all by yourself or at a camping trip or something like that, and you want to have a good drip cup of coffee, this is a great way to make it. It's free. The only thing you have to buy is the coffee and the coffee filters. This, on the other hand, when you're done with it, all you have to do is pull this coffee filter out, like so. Rinse out your drip unit, and you can see a little bit about how it has misshapen the lid somewhat, but it is still reusable and can be used repeatedly. When it's gotten to the point where it's so warped that you can no longer use it, then go ahead and make another one, and it's free. And you can do this for 1 cup of coffee instead of making a whole pot of coffee or 2 cups of coffee, which almost any coffee maker nowadays will brew 1 cup. But how much do you spend for a coffee maker? This cost me nothing but the coffee filters and the coffee. Even this one that I used, that I found at the store, was $1. And I got lucky because they do run $7 or $8 online, including shipping. So you might find it cheaper than that. I know Amazon has great prices on things, but that's your choice. Why spend $8 for something you can do for free? Anyway, that's my take on it. I thought I'd share that with everyone. I hope you enjoy your coffee. I'm going to enjoy mine. Thank you very much. I thank you for watching this. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll do another video as soon as I have something special to show you.